Millennials and Gen Z have 86% less purchasing power than baby boomers did in their 20s. That's not a headline. It's a wake-up call. This isn't just about struggling to afford a house or skipping vacations. It's a seismic economic shift that affects how entire generations live, work, and dream. In 1980, a baby boomer earning the median income could afford a home, a car, and a stable retirement plan. Today, even with higher levels of education, Millennials and Gen Z struggle to rent a one-bedroom apartment. The U.S. Census Bureau reports that while incomes have increased modestly, they haven't kept pace with inflation, let alone skyrocketing costs for housing, healthcare, and education. But is this just bad luck? Let's unpack why the economic deck seems stacked against them. The lazy stereotype is more than just insulting. It's demonstrably false. Millennials and Gen Z are working harder than ever. A 2023 Pew Research study found that millennials are the most educated generation in history, with 39% holding at least a bachelor's degree, double that of baby boomers at the same age. Yet despite this achievement, their inflation-adjusted wages are barely higher than their less educated predecessors. Consider this. In 1973, the median income for a full-time worker was $55,000 in today's dollars. In 2023, it's $56,000. That's a 1.8% increase over 50 years, while housing prices have risen over 121%. Teresa Ghilarducci, a professor of economics at the New School, explains, "It's not laziness, it's structural barriers. They're climbing a ladder that's missing half its rungs." So why do these stereotypes persist? Because focusing on individual habits is easier than addressing systemic failures. But what are those failures? Please like and subscribe. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Your support is appreciated. Thank you. Let's address the avocado toast myth head-on. Skipping coffee or brunch isn't going to fix a system designed to leave millennials and Gen Z behind. While personal responsibility matters, it pales in comparison to the structural issues at play. Between 1980 and 2023, corporate profits surged by 300%, but wage growth barely exceeded 3% annually. Where did the money go? Into the pockets of CEOs and shareholders. According to a report by the Economic Policy Institute, the top 1% now controls over 32% of the nation's wealth, while millennials control just 4.6%. The deck is stacked, but it's not a game millennials or Gen Z chose to play. In 1970, the average home cost about $25,000, or 4 times the median annual salary. Fast forward to 2023, and the median home price is $416,000, 6 times the average income. The National Association of Realtors found that first-time homebuyers now need an average of 13 years to save for a down payment, compared to just 5 years in the 1980s. What's driving this disparity? Corporate investment firms like BlackRock and Invitation Homes have flooded the housing market, buying up properties and driving prices higher. Economist Lisa Sturdivant notes, "The commodification of housing has made it harder for younger generations to access home ownership. Homes are no longer just places to live. They're assets for the wealthy." For millennials and Gen Z, the American dream has become a bidding war they can't afford to enter. In the 1980s, college tuition at public universities averaged $1,200 per year. By 2023, that figure has exploded to over $10,740 annually, a 792% increase. Federal funding for higher education hasn't kept pace, leaving students to shoulder the burden through loans. Today, 43 million Americans owe a staggering $1.7 trillion in student loan debt. Financial analyst Jill Schlesinger highlights, student debt isn't just a burden, it's an anchor. It delays homeownership, limits career mobility, and reduces retirement savings. The economic ripple effects are profound. Millennials and Gen Z are entering the workforce already shackled with debt, putting them years behind in building wealth. The value of a college degree has come under scrutiny. While degree holders earn 75% more over their lifetimes than non-degree holders, the upfront costs are higher than ever. leaving many wondering if the investment is worth it. Automation and globalization have also disrupted traditional career paths. Fields like tech and healthcare still offer strong returns, but others, such as humanities and arts, struggle to justify their cost. The Georgetown University Center on Education and the Workforce reports that nearly 40% of recent graduates work in jobs that don't require a degree. For younger generations, navigating this landscape feels less like a roadmap to success and more like a financial minefield. If you think the US is tough, take a look at the UK. Housing prices there have surged by over 250% since 1997, and millennials now spend 40% of their income on rent alone. According to The Guardian, UK graduates leave school with an average of £45,000 in debt, which accrues interest at inflation plus 3%. Why does this matter? Because it underscores how global these challenges are. Wealth inequality and rising costs aren't unique to the US. They're part of a broader economic trend affecting younger generations worldwide. But how did we get here? One major factor is stagnant wages. While productivity has increased by 70% since 1979, wages have barely budged. The Economic Policy Institute attributes this disparity to corporate practices that prioritize shareholder profits over worker pay. At the same time, essential costs like housing, healthcare, and childcare have outpaced inflation. As a result, Millennials and Gen Z are left with less disposable income despite working longer hours. This isn't just a financial issue. It's a fundamental shift in how wealth is distributed. The avocado toast trope is a convenient myth that shifts blame from systemic issues to individual choices. Let's do the math. Cutting out a $15 brunch every week saves $780 annually. Helpful? Sure. Enough to afford a $60,000 down payment? Not even close. As personal finance expert Ramit Sethi says, you can't budget your way out of a broken system. The focus on spending habits is a distraction from the real culprits: stagnant wages, inflated costs, and structural inequality. Consumer debt has become a lifeline and a trap. The average millennial carries $27,251 in non-mortgage debt, according to Experian. Rising interest rates only compound the problem, making it harder to pay down balances. Auto loans are particularly burdensome. The average new car price hit $48,000 in 2023, up from $36,000 just 5 years ago. For many, owning a vehicle is no longer a convenience. It's a necessity they can barely afford. While systemic change is necessary, there are actionable steps individuals can take. Automate savings. Apps like Acorns or Digit make saving painless by rounding up purchases or setting aside small amounts. Invest early. Even small contributions to an IRA or 401k compound over time. Build multiple income streams. Side hustles, freelancing, or passive income can provide financial security. Advocate for policy change. Support initiatives like student loan forgiveness and affordable housing. These steps won't fix everything, but they can help individuals regain some control. Job hopping has become the norm for millennials and Gen Z, with workers under 35 changing jobs every 2.8 years on average. Why? Because staying put often means stagnating wages. Research shows that switching jobs can lead to salary increases of 10 to 20%. However, frequent moves can also limit long-term benefits like retirement matching. The key is to balance short-term gains with long-term growth opportunities. The ripple effects are staggering. Without access to wealth-building tools like homeownership, savings, or investments, millennials and Gen Z face an uncertain future. And as birth rates decline, the burden of supporting an aging population will fall disproportionately on these generations. Economist Joseph Stiglitz warns, if younger generations can't accumulate wealth, the entire economy suffers. This isn't just their problem, it's everyone's problem. Systemic problems require systemic solutions. Supporting policies like universal healthcare, affordable housing, and student debt relief can make a tangible difference. On a personal level, sharing financial resources and building community networks can create small but meaningful shifts. But collective action is key. Younger generations have the power to demand change if they work together. The financial challenges facing millennials and Gen Z aren't a reflection of laziness or bad choices. They're the result of systemic barriers that need systemic solutions. But change is possible, both individually and collectively. What's your take? Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. You can check out another video that is now on your screen.